Hi, Dr. Morey for Uncivilized Vitality, and this is the first video in a series of videos this year in 2025 where we're going to explain a little bit more about the philosophical arm of Uncivilized Vitality, the 13 tenets or proverbs or philosophies. And we're going to start out with the first one, which is secundum naturam vivere summum bonum est, which is the Latin for living according to nature is the best way. So that is our overriding philosophical guide. It comes mainly from my background in Zen Buddhism, Zen Buddhist training, and Stoicism. And I have today the Penguin Classics edition of the Discourses and the Enchiridion from Epictetus, who was a 2nd century Stoic, actually one of the teachers of Marcus Aurelius, a more famous Stoic. And much of the philosophical content we have in Uncivilized Vitality, the 13 proverbs or tenets or whatever, come from Stoicism or Zen Buddhism. And our first one, the overarching one, is that living according to nature is best. And then our very second one is the dichotomia, and that comes from Epictetus and chapter 1 of the Enchiridion, which says in short, although it's a little bit of a longer paragraph, we are responsible for some things while there are others for which we cannot be held responsible. Okay? Basically, it means there are some things you can control and some things you can't control. And Uncivilized Vitality, we do a lot of fieldcraft. That's probably what people think of when they think of Uncivilized Vitality, is the camping events and the things we go out in the fieldcraft out in nature, learning how to do bushcraft and fieldcraft and survivalism, although I hate that term. Just getting out into nature safely and responsibly. We talk about our fieldcraft being craft and caution in the outdoors. The other thing people might know, especially my patients or students would know, Uncivilized Vitality is for the 5 vital paths, where we optimize your health and happiness through the implementation of movement, nourishment, restoration, hygiene, and community steps or aspects that maybe are pre-civilized hunter-gatherers, fishing cultures, pastoral cultures, the cultures that we had before society became civilized. So we try to move a little more naturally, eat a little more naturally, and that sort of thing. The third aspect of Uncivilized Vitality that doesn't get a lot of attention, I guess, especially here on YouTube, is the philosophical part. There are 13 philosophical tenets that we use, the first of which I just said is titled this video, Living According to Nature is Best. And you can see in Uncivilized Vitality how that feeds back to the other two. We move naturally, we try to eat naturally, hygiene, community, that sort of thing, restoration, according to nature's imposed laws, our sociobiological, psychological realities. And even our fieldcraft can benefit from the teachings of the Stoics and Epictetus. And for that, I talk about chapter 8. Chapter 8 is very short, just one sentence. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. So what Epictetus is telling us there is that we would be better off if we were to exercise our 13th point, which is amor fati, or the love of fate, and just learning to accept what comes. Another Stoic bit of wisdom is that we suffer mostly in our imagination or in our reactions to things rather than the things themselves. And the best way to learn that, I think nowadays, is to go camping, especially if you're not an outdoors person or you're not naturally inclined to bushcraft and being out hiking, canoeing, camping, sleeping out in the sub-zero northern Michigan winters. If that's not your natural thing, you would actually benefit even more by coming along on one of our campaigns or events and learning that when you're out there and you want it to be sunny and bug-free, but it's black flies and mosquitoes and the sun is too hot and then it's too cold at night and then you can't find proper firewood. And personally, the more of those little things go wrong when I'm camping, the better experience I have. Because when I get home, I've had more of a learning experience. I've had more of a chance to practice what Epictetus and then subsequently Uncivilized Vitality is trying to teach me, to not wish for things to be the way I want them to be, but just learning to accept things as they are. And then I find that I come back, and I often make this joke with people. Like, if you go on one of our events and it's miserable, you're better off, because then when you come home, you appreciate things more, like hot running water, or getting potable water with the turn of a faucet, and just a few dollars to pay that water bill, as opposed to hiking a half a mile down the hill and dipping out of a river and then boiling the water and straining the water just to get a drink. So you will appreciate some of the trappings of our more advanced society. I hate to say civilization, because that's the antithesis of what we're talking about. But you learn to appreciate those more. You sleep on the ground, the cold, hard ground. There's a root here, and your head's down a little lower than it should be. You do that for 2 or 3 nights. In the snow, you come back, you hit your bed. It's nice, it's soft, it's temperature controlled. You'll appreciate those things much more. Just gives you perspective. So I will start this year, 2025, at least once a month. I'll put out a video detailing one of our 13 philosophical tenets. So by the end of the year, if you're just a watcher of the channel, or a non-member that maybe picked up the book and wants a little more preview from volume 3 that's coming out probably next year. Volume 2 will be out later this year, early in the spring, I hope. And you want to learn more about the philosophical part, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for these videos at least once a month. Maybe I can get them out a little sooner, and we'll do maybe like an 8 to 10 minute video about one of the philosophical points in a row, and then how the individual philosophies sort of fit together. There are 5 in there that we call the 5 rules, the stars rules, and I'll show you how those come out. There are the 3 disciplines that sort of stand alone as a group. There's a few overarching ones, such as the first 3 that can stand alone, the 5 rules, the last one about being prepared, and we'll show you how these philosophical points can kind of mix and match and help with the 5 vital paths, and going out and doing the Fieldcraft to help you experience them more. I'll also make a point to tie them back to their original source, which would be either Stoicism or a version of Zen Buddhism, or Sun Buddhism, which is the Korean version. So lots of those quotes. If you're interested in that sort of thing, leave a comment below, like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and check out the link to buy me a coffee if you enjoyed the video. That would help support the Uncivilized Living Foundation and the channel. And I think that is it.